I'm Johanna Rothman, and this is my January 2026 Pragmatic Manager newsletter. Leadership Tip 25: How to choose autonomy and to avoid malicious compliance. Many managers think they empower their teams to solve problems autonomously. Unfortunately, that autonomy only lasts when managers feel relaxed enough to allow that autonomy. When managers feel too much pressure, that autonomy vanishes. Under pressure, managers try to control what people do instead of encouraging autonomous problem solving. How do you react when you see no reason for this kind of control? If you're like me, you first grow resentful. You might even respond to management control with malicious compliance. That's because the more managers exert control, the more they treat adults like children. Eventually, people respond in kind. Sooner or later, no one wins. Everyone loses. Fellow consultant Charles Lambton offered a terrific example on LinkedIn of a manager who did not consider the consequences of mandatory in-office work even in a snowstorm. Since there was no way for the employee to work remotely, the employee removed their work email and Teams from their phone. Later, the manager had an urgent request, but the employee did not respond to that request. When the manager asked why the employee had not responded, the employee said, "I am not allowed to work from home." That's malicious compliance, and in my never humble opinion, a reasonable response to a total lack of leadership. Managers need to show leadership, especially under pressure. Managers always have choices about how they lead, and when managers allow pressure to change how they lead, the entire organization suffers. Some of my colleagues claim we can separate management from leadership. No. While other people might also exhibit leadership, managers must be leaders. That's literally the job of management. When managers abdicate their responsibility to create a reasonable system of work, those managers stop leading. That allows the organization's nonsense to roll downhill. Worse, when that nonsense rolls downhill, everyone's autonomy vanishes. This is not learned helplessness. This is a reasonable response to unreasonable management control. That's why managers must consciously choose the kind of leader they want to be. Do you want to dictate your decisions to people? That creates delays and the least satisfying work environment for everyone. Worse, it creates ever more management pressure. See, one secret to free yourself from the overwhelm of leadership work to see what you can do about loosening that pressure. In contrast, do you want people to make autonomous decisions on their own or with their team? That kind of leadership allows the fastest possible feedback loops and helps the team learn faster. However, autonomy requires management courage and delegation. That might be very difficult in your organization. Discover your courage to relinquish control. Managers must find the courage to use their autonomy. Often that requires the manager speak truth to someone with more power. However, when managers exercise their courage, they can relinquish control and offer more autonomy. Autonomy occurs when people have the space to make their own decisions. If you're trying to use agility in any form, then autonomy makes even more sense for teams. When teams take responsibility for their problems and outcomes. They can offer everyone more leadership opportunities depending on how they collaborate. The more a team collaborates, the more likely the team can see its risks. Measure cycle time, not velocity, to see the difference between a collaborative team and a team that works as individuals. The more the manager can consciously delegate, the more courage they find they have. Also, the less pressure the manager feels. That combination of more courage and less pressure can lead to much less management control. Here's the interesting thing about more autonomy as opposed to more control. When people and teams have more autonomy, they make decisions faster. That shortens the various feedback loops and helps the team learn faster. The faster everyone finishes their work, the faster the customers can offer feedback. Even better, no one needs to register their displeasure with malicious compliance. Avoid malicious compliance. Malicious compliance is a big red flag that says bad management, very bad management. If you start to see malicious compliance in your organization, consider your next actions. While you might feel offended, consider these ideas. Find someone you trust and ask them if they feel as if you have removed their autonomy. It does not matter what you think, it's how they feel. If you cannot find someone you trust to tell you the truth, assume you have impinged on their autonomy. Next, review the management timesheet and leadership tip number 20. Consciously delegate to free your management time. Choose how you will restore leadership in your management. Malicious compliance occurs when adults feel as if managers treat them like children. No one needs to do that. Read more. This newsletter touches on topics in these books, the Modern Management Made Easy books, especially practical ways to manage yourself and practical ways to lead and serve others. Also, project life cycles, how to reduce risks, release successful products, and increase agility. This is part of the intermittent series of leadership tips. Announcements. My effective public speaking starter has funded and gained a project we love from Kickstarter. Woo! Check out the campaign to see if you want to back it. This book is about how to use public speaking as content marketing. My ideal audience is all writers and consultants. Those of you who still have jobs, you can learn from this book too, but I assume my ideal audience publishes their intellectual property. If you're curious, check out The Speaking Myths. The Kickstarter has just 1 week remaining. If you're part of the Agile community, consider checking out the Agile Network. I have a discount code in the permalink. I have all kinds of permalinks in the newsletter itself for the previous issues of the Pragmatic Manager, my YouTube channel, the Managing Product Development blog, my Create an Adaptable Life blog, my books, my store, my fiction, a tip jar. These newsletters will always remain free, but I do want to offer you an option for you to show how much you value my work. Thank you, and I will see you next month.